NHL playoffs, all three games today here for Friday, May the 1st on the pre-scout. Of course, I am Andrew McInnis. You guys can find me here at least a few times a week, giving out free plays, giving out videos. And of course, I'm on Puck Time most days at 11 a.m. Eastern. About to head out on a little bit of a vacation, but you guys can still see all of my stuff on social media. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, and I'll have some picks for you guys there. I wanted to come on, give some quick thoughts on the games for Friday. Hopefully we can make some money before we head out on vacation. And I'll still be dialed in, of course, with the playoffs when I'm away as well. The show is always brought to you by the HOF app. That's hofapp.com. It's my favorite place to research player props, whether it be streaks, whether it be matchups, whether it be NHL, NBA, MLB. That's hofapp.com. You guys can use the code Andrew to get 7 free days of the HOF app and 50% off your first subscription. Guys, the games here for today, we've got Montreal, Tampa, Buffalo, Boston, and Vegas taking on Utah. Let's take a look here at the numbers when we take a look at this series right now, or these games. Tampa Bay and Montreal. Tampa, slight road favorites, minus 115. Buffalo, exact same thing, slight road favorites, minus 118. And Vegas Golden Knights, slight road favorites at minus 115. All three road teams, the favorites here tonight in the NHL. So which home teams come out on top? Which road teams get the job done? Let's start things off with the Lightning and the Montreal Canadiens. Now, one thing very shocking for me, you guys know I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan, but I'm shocked by the lack of offensive development we've seen from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Both their goals in Game 5 were off 2-on-1 breakaways, 2-on-1 chances. They have not created too much 5-on-5. Their power play stuff has been pretty good, and their depth scoring has not been there. Now, when you look at the Montreal Canadiens, their defense ranks actually near the top in the NHL playoffs so far, even with missing Noah Dobson. But their top line has not been that great. Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Slavkovsky's even slowed down a bit. So we'll see what happens here. But the last change, the home advantage, the crowd advantage, shifts back here to Montreal as they have a chance to close things out. Total's at 5.5 here. Look, we've seen a little bit of a mixed bag of slow starts versus fast starts, but all but one games in this series have had a final score of 3-2, which means every game but one has gone under the total of 5.5 here. Look, I believe this is going to be one of those games where we still see defense be part of it. And if we do see the game go over, it will be because a plethora of goals in the third period and not much action in the first period. So when it comes to this first period, there's going to be excitement in the air. There's going to be a lot going on, but I'm going to look for under 1.5 goals in the first period. Look, as exciting as it is to have a chance on home ice to try and close things out, a lot of times when one team gets that lead in the first period, you want to protect that lead. We've seen that all kinds of times. You know, it wouldn't shock me if we saw a bunch of goals right away, but just with this elimination style, we've seen a lot of these games, even so far in these playoffs, but also going back to the past few years, where you start off slow as far as the goals, and then you start moving forward a little bit here. And I will argue that the Tampa Bay Lightning need a really good start, because the Montreal Canadiens, if they get that lead, they're going to do a great job of protecting it, and the panic will probably start to set in. When it comes to player props for Lightning and Canadiens, I'll tell you what, Brandon Hagel's been the straw that stirs the drink for Tampa Bay. So whether you want to look at shots for him or points, could be useful. Darren Radish, defenseman's been fantastic for them as well. So I would not mind looking at him as far as his points are concerned. Cole Caulfield has been a shell of himself. There's no hiding it. He's not been that great as far as his offensive ability is concerned. But I'll tell you one guy that's been huge is Josh Anderson. And you can get him for 1.5 shots on goal at minus 105. And we're going to take a look at the point market as well. Look at a guy that's just really stepped up so far this playoffs. And I think he's been just absolutely massive here. And I think, you know, if you can find a prop on Zachary Bolduc to get a point, he'd be someone worth looking at. But even Alex Newhook at plus 185, that one's a little bit intriguing to me as well. Switching to the next game, let's take a look at Buffalo and Boston. And here's the deal here, guys. On the playoffs so far, you've got a Boston team that is the second worst team when it comes to expected goals against. If you weren't a fan of Jeremy Swayman before, you better be a fan of him now, because there's one game where he got lit up and they didn't stand a chance. But any game the Boston Bruins have won in this series is because of Jeremy Swayman, is because of what he's capable of, is because of what he can do. So I think that, this is the team that, fortunately for them, they win in Buffalo. They force the series back to Boston. TD Garden's going to be packed. It's going to be super exciting. But I just don't really have that feeling that this series goes 7 games. I think the series ends tonight. I think Buffalo has more offensive capability. And I think that when you look at the odds in this one, they're not giving Boston too much of a home ice advantage, although Buffalo were pretty sizable favorites when they were at home, now just slight favorites when it comes to this one. I'll tell you what, if you're playing Buffalo in this one, you played a -1.5 at plus 215. You guys know me. I'm not a huge puck line player, but I always say it in elimination games, you play puck lines. A lot of these games, we saw it last night, Minnesota and Dallas. We didn't just see one, but we saw 2 empty net goals. That's what happens in these games. You could be, cashing your under ticket all night long, and all of a sudden the over hits with empty net goals, or the puck line hits empty net goals. So -1.5 goals plus 215. Very intriguing for me. Also, if you guys don't want to lay that puck line, I'm a big fan of the team totals. You can get Buffalo right now over 3.5 goals at plus 150. I know Swayman has been good, but if you like Buffalo, you want to look towards that team total over. So we'll take a look at that. And I'll tell you, back to the Montreal game, you guys know I'm a fan of the team, but I'll continue to say this. Montreal has been undervalued in the marketplace. I liked them in the last game, and I do lean towards that side in this one. Just very curious how that first period desperation goes for Tampa Bay. That'll be something to watch for sure. First goal is huge in that series. Guys, for me at wagertalk.com, a package that we do have available is the rest of my NHL plus a CFL. And the way it works is that you're going to get NHL for free if you buy the CFL package. Last year at Wagertalk, #1 across the board, anybody that handicapped CFL at the website. Look, I get it. A lot of you guys like college football. We all like NFL. Give CFL a chance. You're hanging out in the summer. You're having a good time. There's games on most days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They spread the games out. You guys sign up for my Canadian football package. You're going to get all of my NHL plays free included in that package at wt.buzz/AM. Follow the link on the bottom of the screen, and you guys can get that package at a fantastic price there. Vegas Golden Knights and Utah Mammoth. I'll tell you what, I tip my cap to Utah, tip my cap to Dylan Guenther, to this team, the way that they've been playing. But I believe this is an example of the Knights just getting better and better as the series has progressed. This is a chance for Vegas to close it out now. And of course, I understand they were on the road. Utah has been a good home team, but this is a spot that I do like Vegas to get the job done. However, I actually think we actually get a lower scoring game in this one. We've seen some crazy high scoring ones here. I'm going to take the route of looking at team total under 2.5 for Utah. And yes, they're at home. And yes, they've been a pretty good bounce back team lately. And yes, they've scored goals during this series. This is just not a spot I think they're going to. I think that right now, the veteran leadership and the veteran players are really going to show for the Vegas Golden Knights. That's what it ultimately comes down to. Who are the veterans? Who are the top players? And I think Vegas has that. So look, Utah put on a good show. Their young players played extremely well. This is a spot where I think Vegas gets the job done. Their shots on goal, 4 per game. But their depth, line 1, line 2, line 3, the defensemen coming through. The problem for Utah, there's only been a handful of guys actually contributing when it comes to scoring, and I do think that hurts them. So whether you want to take Vegas on the money line, whether you want to take a look at team total under for Utah, I think that's the way to look when it comes to this game. It's going to be a fantastic game here, guys, and I do look forward to it. Just not sure Utah will be able to hang on. Looking forward to seeing how many game 7s we see. Of course, all 3 games today in the NHL are elimination games. So very much so looking forward to seeing what kind of games we get as far as elimination games are concerned. All right, guys, last but not least, let's take a look at the HOF app, of course, as we always do. And where are we here? Hold that thought. There we go. All right. Let's take a look. Okay, so first thing I want to do is look at leaders. Change this background here. Get a little bit of more brightness. How about this? There we go. All right, let's look at head-to-head as far as the goals, last 5 games. Hagel, we'll go to playing today. All right, so Hagel with a goal in 4 of his last 5 games against the Canadiens, plus 160. Dylan Guenther with a goal in 3 of his last 5 games against Vegas, that's plus 155. Bowen Byram with a goal in 3 of his last 5 games against the Bruins, that's plus 675. Alex Tuch, 3 of his last 5 games against the Bees at plus 195, guys. Pavel Dorofeyev, look, plus 220. He's been heating up a little bit. Let's look over at the player points as far as the head-to-head matchups are concerned. See what we can find here with that one. Jake Gensel with a point in 5 straight games against the Montreal Canadiens. Lane Hudson with a point in 5 straight games against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Barbashev, minus 115 only, guys. You can get for him to get a point, 5 straight games for him against Utah. Jack Eichel, maybe a parlay leg for him, 4 of his last 5 against Utah. Hagel, we already talked about him. Kucherov, Tuch, minus 140. Peyton Krebs, plus 122, 4 of his last 5. Lawson Krause, plus 118. Mitch Marner, minus 160. I'll tell you what, if I'm playing Mitch Marner, I'm probably just looking towards the assist prop, if we're being real here. Bowen Byram again. Tage Thompson. Texier, not a bad price there, plus 165. So a lot to look at here, guys. And of course, with this section, it's my favorite section to look at during the playoffs because you're going to look at head-to-head or last 5 or last 10, of course, but head-to-head and last 5 is what I like to look at because you're looking at the actual series itself. You can look at plus-minus, assists, goals, block shots, power play goals, and all that good stuff here on the HOFapp.com. So it's a fantastic app, of course, and you guys can always use the code Andrew to get 7 free days of the HOF app and 50% off your first subscription. That will do it for the pre-scout for today. Wishing you guys all a great weekend. Best of luck, and let's make some money today in the NHL.